Welcome to the High-Tech Investments News Report for Week 2. The news report covers some of the many investments projects High-Tech Investments is currently involved in so you can follow our progress. We hope you will enjoy this news feed and look forward to your comments and remarks.
Hi, Bo here and welcome back to this week's news report, the first one in 2025. Hopefully everything is going to be well in 2025. Definitely we saw quite a few struggles over the time in 2024. And we are still very much in a few items in here that needs to be resolved. The first one was our last news report from end of the year was basically lower profit all the way around. It was very, very low. So in the last section of December in here, I can tell you now that things have actually moved in a positive direction. Let's hope it's going to continue. You're going to watch all of the new profits in here for the first week 1 and 2. Plus, also, we're going to show you exactly how well we did or how poor we did in December. We also obviously has to reflect back on 2024. That has taught us a lot of things within the trading itself. Mainly some of the parts that was also introduced here was the Japanese yen that basically trended heavily. So in the spring, later on in the summertime, in July, we had the Swiss francs also basically moving further than ever before. And now again here in the fall and winter time here, we had the US dollar also trending like crazy and getting up to more than a 2-year high in here. All of these things have actually broke several of the PAMM accounts from what we understand in here. We actually went in over the weekend, had a closer look, and was quite surprised to see how many of the other PAMM accounts has actually blown up here. Especially there was a few also in this particular week on the 9th and on the 10th. We know there was a lot of news coming out, but still I had no idea that it was that many because the main site that we normally compared in the past couple of months has not been updated. And as we scroll down, we basically had a look at this particular graph in here. Now our Wave PAMM account is still very much alive, but we're also going to talk a bit more about it in this particular video here compared to what we normally do. And last but not least, we're going to have a look also at Alex and Expert Forex for the coupling service that seems to be taking off. We're getting more and more subscribers, which is great, especially on the new settings that we have set up, which seems to be working a lot better with lower drawdowns and still with plenty of profits. Alex has come up with the top 12. We don't agree with those. We have actually made our own list, and you will see the criteria in here as we go through the video. But as usual, we're going to start off with Yieldnodes. Let's get into it. Now, disappointingly enough, there's not really much information out of Yieldnodes here as usual. Nothing from Steve, nothing from Urs, no deadlines or anything else for 2025. It is still very much up in the air what's going to happen with Yieldnodes in here. The only thing we can do is go on the website and look at the order coin reserves just to see what's actually happening in here. We have the numbers from week 52. And again, we can see the master nodes that are running 244. Now it's 250. So obviously something is happening in here. 3,790 versus 3,815. So about 25 also extra on the SAP. So obviously something is happening here on the side where you can see the coins owned. And this is basically all the master nodes that are running for the individual coins. They are still going up. Now the question is obviously about the balance itself and the coin value, which we're going to have a look at here. So last week again we left it so just around the point and then 702 or somewhere in between. Since then things have come down and at the lowest point that we have ever seen it here. So that doesn't sound too good for 2025, but maybe this is the bottom before something else happening. We have to wait and see. There's not much basically volatility within the currency. There was some buys in here at some point and another sells here around the 10th. And overall, we don't see much on the staking side either. So staking, the last part we actually got anything was on the 12th of December. These was a bit off compared to normal 280 that we are getting. So we are still staking, but haven't seen anything at all for 2025. So that's quite disappointing. And obviously everything seems to be working okay, but nothing is coming through when it comes to the rewards for the staking. Also in here for 2024, we can see at the bottom screen here, January to December. So on an average, it's roughly around 840 that we have gotten in every single month. It is definitely better than let them sit and do nothing in here. This doesn't really cost us anything to stake it. So why not? And in the hopes that obviously the SAP coin is going to be worth something in the future. We're also going to have a look at the PNY. And for the week, we had quite a lot of activity in here. You can see January. So it's definitely the best month already of 2025. Hard not to be, but it's also the best one from 2024. We had 1,995. And we actually managed to get in this particular week here 1,197 PNY, which is 4.3%, a lot higher than what we have previously seen at any given point. So quite interesting why that one is actually all of a sudden cashing in so well. But if we have a look also here, we can see 1,596. That was the top one in December. So something seems to have happened in end of the year, beginning of 2025. So hopefully that is good news, at least for this particular coin here. But still, the value of the coin has to come up. Bitcoin versus USDT, well, that has come up. We actually left it at the same level as we are back at the moment. 93,600 is where we left it, and right now it's at 93,565 as we are shooting this video. So we did manage to get up through the glass ceiling once again, up to about 102,000 for Bitcoin. So that's good news, but again, it was only short term, lasted pretty much about a day or so. And now it's actually, again, hovering around the 94,000 in here. Be exciting to see if we can actually pull through once and for all and stay above the 100,000. In the meantime, we know that the Trade Explorer, that can definitely create some good profits in here for week 2. We had the 10 pair one doing $347 or 3.5%. And that's a very good average for this particular EA in here. It has been doing quite well for 606 days now. Look at the balance. We have now come from a $10,000 account up to 50,000. So there's definitely a good development overall for this particular EA. It is also one of the highest ones on the CopyLink service. A lot of people have linked to this over time, which is good to see. But it does have its spikes from time to time where the floating profit and loss, you can see at the moment, is only at minus 329. It is still very low, but it can actually increase extremely fast, and it did that here back in end of 2024. Total return, it says 353%. Monthly returns, don't forget we are not changing the lot size because it's on the CopyLink service. So a 7.6% is actually quite astonishing that we can do that, with a weekly return of 1.8, and trade wins continues to be high on this EA with 75% overall, and trades per day is about 12. So if we have a look at the individual weeks that we have here, so this week we had 347, last week was 254, so that was end of December, beginning of the new year. And then we had also around Christmas a terrible week, so $58, that was not much. All the EAs was pretty much down. But if we have a closer look at the entire month for the Trade Explorer of December, we did quite well. We had a high jumper in here, 5,785, so which is 57.9%. So whoever was in on those link accounts and trying to keep the lot factor under control in here, not being too greedy, still made a lot of money here for the month of December. We can see it here and compare it to what we have from prior times, 1,300, 1,600, again 1,600, 1,500, and then October was a very good month also, 2,953. 1,700, and then December was a massive 5,785. So again, some decent months. And at the moment in January, we are already up here with 496. So it's looking pretty good, but it is a bit of a moody EA. Sometimes it doesn't make too much money, other times it's cashing in big time. Now for the Wave Liberator for week 2. Again, seems to have been catching up quite well. So Great British Pounds CAT is $53, 5.3%. And then with the Aussie CAT at $50 or 5%. Euro CAT, $36, 3.6%. And then Aussie Japanese, $35 or 3.5%, with Euro Swiss francs at the lower part of the top 5 with $32, 3.2%. Overall, if you would have traded those top 5 on a $1,000 account, you would have made $207 or 4.1%. Still very good for the first couple of weeks here, as trading can be a bit slow. Definitely a good development, picking up speed again. And we can see that on the overall portfolio in here too. Look at that nice little smooth curve. We can see that the profit dropped a bit. So this is for a couple of weeks ago. Overall, we still have 22 accounts with $10,000 in here. Now up to 258 in balance. At the moment, the floating profit and loss is actually quite high at minus 25,000. That is due again to a couple of currency pairs, specifically also the US dollar that has gone completely nuts here and at a 2-year all-time high. And we have the total returns of 10.4%. Monthly returns is still good at 1.2 or 12% if you are counting the $1,000 accounts. Weekly return is 0.3% or 3% on a $1,000 account with a good trade win of 67%. So that's also good. And trades per day is about 14 with a lot of history, as you can see, 510 days. You'll find more on our website where all of these can be traded on $1,000 accounts. Most of the ones with our new settings are working extremely well. The ones especially on the US dollar one, because they are actually trending before we had the new strategy in place. They are still in a bit of a heavy drawdown. So let's hope we're going to get out of that and then see how all the accounts are actually doing in the future. In the meantime, we're going to have a look at the monthly part. And again, in here, so first for the week that we are going through, we did 503 for the entire portfolio. The week before it was 279, and then in December 185. So again, also this was quite low. But as I promised you, we're going to have a look and see what it did in December overall. These are the individual currency pairs that did the best. US Swiss francs, $147 or 14.7%. So that is a good top. Then Aussie CAT, $127, 12.7%, with Swiss francs Japanese at 113 or 11.3%. Euro Swiss francs, $111, 11.1%. And then Aussie Swiss francs, $100 or 10% straight. Overall, again, you're trading those top 5 EAs for the month of December. You would have made $598 or 12% overall. That is quite good, especially considering how poor December was overall in here. So the, again, portfolio is doing well for the month of December in here, 1,669. We're already up in January of 632. But again, December, as you can see, compared to October and November, very much down. So let's hope we're not going to go that low anytime soon again. Also for the RSI Liberator for week 2 in here, you can also see good stable results for the Great British Pounds Japanese with $49, 4.9%. And then a second one following closely after, which is the Aussie USD, $49, 4.9%. And then EuroCAT, $43, 4.3%, with Great British Pounds Swiss francs at $40 or 4%. And then Aussie CAT closing off the top 5 with $33 or 3.3%. Also here, $213 was made, or 4.3%, if you had those 5 $1,000 accounts set up. We can also see that the floating profit and loss is very similar for the RSI portfolio. Again, it's only a few accounts that has gone completely crazy based on the movement over the last 2 or 3 months in here. We're hoping they're going to come out of it in the next month or so. Let's hope so. Balance is good. Equity is obviously a bit low due to the floating profit and loss. But overall monthly returns is calculated at about 1% or 10% on $1,000 accounts, 2% per week, or again 0.2 if you're on $10,000 accounts. Trade wins are good with 65.7, trades per day a bit more with 20, and then a history also now of almost a year soon, 279 days. We're getting closer and closer. You can also here find a lot more of these signals for the coupling service. A lot of these are doing quite well. As we mentioned, these are only the ones that started to trend dramatically here in October, November, that we need to get out of so that the new settings can actually take full effect in here. And while we're then looking at the individual portfolio, we can see for the week itself, all of them did 384, the week before 301. And then the lowest one was again around Christmas, 228. It was basically overall for all the EAs that they were low at the time. If you go and have a look at the month of December for the RSI Liberator, we can see that the Aussie Japanese did extremely well with $191 or 19.1%. Great British Pounds, $181 or 18.1%. Eurocat, 176, so all very, very close in the top here, 17.6%, and Euro Great British Pounds, $151 with 15.1%, and then Aussie Cat closing off the top 5 with $144, 14.4%. So again here, the top 5 in here did very, very well with $844 or 16.9% calculated on the $1,000 accounts. So definitely a very, very good average overall. And if we have a look at the individual months, we can see that even though this looks nice, we have done a lot better in recent months. We have to go all the way back to May to find anything lower. So hopefully January, which is already well underway with 552, can actually make sure that things are moving further in the right direction. Now you can find more details on our website as usual. Go to portfolio of opportunities in here. You'll find our Wave Liberator, you find the RSI Liberator, and you'll find the PAMM account that also runs the Wave Liberator in here, and that's the one we're going to have a closer look at now. You can see the curve here is actually smoothened out. So, and that also means here that we have shut down some of the currency pairs, so they are not trading, and we are hedging some of the ones in here also because the market has been quite volatile, and not only volatile but also only have gone in one direction without no retracement at all. And these particular EAs doesn't really like it too much, but everything for the weekly returns, the monthly returns, everything is still very much in green. History is 319 days. But we also have obviously some disappointing results in here because there was not much movement in the last week, $180. And if we have a closer look at it, we can also see here that there were some withdrawals again. We haven't seen too many in the last couple of weeks, but they are definitely a bit of a danger. So as we are going into high drawdown, then the investors need to understand that this should not be done at that particular time because they're not getting much out of their money anyway. You can see from December, we had a withdrawal of about 3,200 pretty much. So, and we had some good profit still with 2,796, even though a lot of trades has been stopped in order to secure and make sure that the account is safe. But if we go over the last 3 quarters, and this is actually where we saw some heavy movements and where some of the first trades actually took place. Since then, there's about 40,000 that has been taken out, and we understand that investors does that from time to time in here, but it is very difficult to set up the right trading strategy and also the right lot sizing when such a huge amount is actually being pulled out. We have no control over the withdrawal phase or anything else. That is all Black Bull in here, but it certainly creates some issues. So for us and obviously also other investors if they continue to do that. When we have heavy drawdown, it is best to let it ride, and then hopefully we'll get over it on the other side. Otherwise, it could be a recipe for disaster. Now, there has been some recipe for disaster. I mentioned that in the beginning here. So this is the chart that we have compared over the past news reports. This looks to be updated last time around early December. We can see the balance in here for the overall PAMM accounts was 423. And obviously there was a lot of drawdowns and pretty much on all the individual accounts here. We have the Alco Trader, which is the ones that was expert Forex setups before. They were taken over. And then we have the equity in here also, where some of the ones was blown up recently, or actually 3 or 4 months ago, I believe. And now it looks like some of them have done it again, because when you scroll down from that particular part, we get to this section here, and that's what I saw over the weekend. The total PAMM accounts, it's not at 400 anymore, it's at 297. Now, obviously, some of the investors kind of taken money out. There's no doubt about it. I even saw some posting here also from Alex mentioning that some of the investors has jeopardized or could have jeopardized the accounts by taking a lot of money out. And again, that would create a problem on the margin itself and the money that the trader has available. And that we have also seen on our own account in here. But now it looks like we are pretty much the only ones trading anything in here. As I said, we have about 260, close to 270,000 on our PAMM account. So there's not much left on the rest of them. The ones that looks to have crashed this particular week, and I cannot tell you if this is because of the fluctuations in the market. I cannot tell you if it's because investors took money out. It could be a combination of both, but we don't really know at the end of the day. But obviously, this is also sad news for the entire PAMM account community in here. But again, I hope that we can do a lot better here in 2025 than what we have seen so far. Now with the Lucky Trader, this is actually the one that seems to do most of the talking when it comes to profits in here. Great British Pounds USD, that's $74 or 7.4% just for the week. Great British Pounds CAD at $67 or 6.7%. With Euro Great British Pounds at $47, 4.7%. And then Euro Swiss francs, $39, 3.9%. And Aussie CAD closing off the top 5 with $37, 3.7%. Overall for the week, $264, 5.3% is actually what was made. So it looks pretty good. And if we have a closer look at the entire portfolio here, we can again see very smooth. Everything is going in the right direction. Floating profit and loss is very much under control, because this is the one that was introduced straight away with the new settings, with the new way of doing things, and it's only at minus 8,396, and still the profit is very good and high. Close profit 5,125. So we are in negative at the moment, but with a market like this, this is definitely still well done so far. With a monthly return at the moment calculated from FX Blue at 1.3 or 13%, and weekly returns at 0.3 or 3% on $1,000 accounts. Trade wins continues to be high at 70%. We now have 71 days, so basically 2 months to have a look at it. So stability is starting to creep in on the numbers in here. So looking very, very good. That's also why you can find all these items on the website, where we're going to go on the copy-link service with some of these signals later on, either in this month or the next one. We'll have to wait and see. I want to have Alex to have a closer look at some of these signals we have in here, maybe add 4, 5 or 6 of them, and add some more in the month after. But overall, as you can see in here, we are still doing quite well. The numbers are, as I mentioned before, We have the last week, the entire portfolio did 444, which is a lot better than last week's 253. And obviously, again, Christmas was a disaster profit-wise with 153 only in here. But when we look at the entire month of December, it doesn't look so bad, does it now? With Great British Pounds USD at $197 or 19.7%. Euro Great British Pounds $172 or 17.2%. And then follow closely after with Great British Pounds CAD, $169, 16.9%. And then US CAD, $153 or 15.3%. New Zealand USD, again at the bottom here, $133, 13.3%. And overall, these 5 on $1,000 accounts could have made you $825 or 16.5%. That is some very good percentage numbers overall here also. We are very happy with how the Lucky Trader is actually developing. And even though they are good numbers, you'll see that we did a lot better with that in November. So December has not been the best one, but we can see already now from the month of January, we're up 580, and hopefully that will also continue so for the next weeks and months to come. We also have the Bell Trader for week 2 in here with the top 5 EA. Now some of these are still very, very low, and we are adjusting it, but it looks like some of them are not taking the right trades. But we can see EuroCAD, $22, 2.2% for the week is definitely not too bad. Aussie New Zealand, $11, 1.1%. Euro Great British Pounds, $10 or 1%. And then Aussie USD, $9 or 0.9%. And then Great British Pounds CAD, $8, 0.8%. Overall, this is the lowest performing EA at the moment with $60 or 1.2% for week 2. So hopefully it's going to do a bit better. At the moment, we have 16 accounts of 10,000 each. Floating profit and loss is also very low, as you can see, minus 3,848. Might be a bit low, but close profits here is 1,050. And if we have a look at the monthly returns, it says 0.5%, so only 5% on $1,000 accounts. But it's still very early days here, and we don't want to stress it too much. Weekly returns is saying 0.1 or basically 1% on a $1,000 account. But the trade wins are very high. So 74.9% is some of the best we have here. And then history of 42 days, so still early days. But I think we need further adjustment to this particular one in here. You can find a lot more details also on the individual currency pairs. So again, you go on our website and you go to the Bell Trader. In here, you'll find all those. It'll take you to FX Blue, where you can then also have a look at these particular graphs here, where I'll show you that the entire portfolio made $62, which is actually a lot lower than last week's 171. It's even lower than what we saw at Christmas at 86. So hopefully this is going to pick up again soon. But if we have a look for the entire month of December, it doesn't look too bad, especially on the Great British Pounds CAD with $219 or 21.9%. EuroCAD did $150 or 15.0%. With Euro Great British Pounds, $135, 13.5%. And then Aussie New Zealand coming in a bit lower here with $81, 8.1%. And then New Zealand Swiss francs, $78 or 7.8%. Again, these top 5, they might be a bit lower than the rest what we have seen, but still making up $664 or 13.3% for the month of December is definitely approved in my book. We can also have a closer look and see how well we did overall. We did $900 so in net profit, and we're currently up in January with 149. So things and the graph is going in the right direction. It's just not going as fast as the rest of the EAs. Now there is an opportunity here with Alex and Expert Forex. So there is a 30-day trial for the link to success. And this is the copy link service we have discussed and where we have many signals here already. So there is an offer. You have to be quick about it. So it is a time limited one. So again, in the video description below, we will have the link and you can go there and find the exact details on how to get yourself involved in this. Now Alex has also made a second video this particular week here, which looks very interesting, and it's a new EA and a concept that he's working with at the moment. He's starting off with $763. Why this particular odd results or odd start of money, I'm not sure, but he makes it up in 200,000 in just 19 trades over 5.5 weeks, and with the success rate of 68%. So part of this particular video in here is a different strategy. So this has nothing to do at all with the profit retrieval. So it has nothing to do with RSI, the Wave Liberator, the Lucky Trader, the other ones that you have seen in here so far. So this is actually where you go in and you have individual trades where, again, you are risking about 40% of your equity in here, and it has a stop loss also, but because of the high success rate of this particular EA, you can still double the account many times over in just 19 trades. So a very interesting video, and we'll have to see what comes out of that one with Alex in the future. Now, I mentioned also earlier in the program here and in the introduction that the copy link service is doing quite well. As you can see, Alex has done a video here with 53% in 8 weeks, 1.5% drawdown on 12 accounts. And these are the 12 accounts that he has basically selected. We mentioned in the beginning that we don't really agree with those selections. We went in and had a look at our own selections, and they actually look like this in here. And on the website itself, you can go and search this particular Excel. You can go and sort it also. So what we did was we went into all the different links here, and then say, okay, floating profit and loss. I don't want to see anything above $400 of floating profit and loss. You can see this is actually the highest in here with minus 330. This is the Trade Explorer with 146C that people really like. But anyway, we are also the negative weeks, total negative weeks in 8 weeks. I don't want to see anything above minus $500, so I put that in there too. And then return on total drawdown, I put in we need to be at least 200%, added that in, and then gains in the last 8 weeks. I sorted it from high to low, and this is actually what came out of it. We can see a lot of different greens, a lot of either no risk or several thousand here. Again, return on the total drawdown. They look very good. The lowest one we have is 288%, and that is very good already. And then you can see floating profit and loss. They are very low in here, but gains is very good, starting with 68%, 62 in here, 56, 47, so very high. And the lowest one is 18, and you can definitely not complain too much about that. When you're looking over 8-week period, which is basically 2 months, it's an average of 9%. So a very good gain. And obviously, again, with the worst week of minus $63 in drawdown. So these are definitely some of the accounts that I would have to have a look at. Ours is all the ones with the C in here. So you can follow those. And clearly some of the settings that we have changed and updated, it looks to be working because we are taking most of the top 5s in our search. So this is what we had for you in the first news report of 2025. As you can see, things are moving forward. Let's hope we can put 2024 behind us, apart from learning from the individual currency pairs that has really made a lot of trouble in 2024. Let's hope that 2025 is going to be a better one, both on our copy link service. Definitely we're going to introduce some of the Lucky Trader and also the Bell Trader signals in here for you to copy. If you are up to the challenge in here, we can see they're doing quite well. You can also see the profits are okay, but we have definitely also been a lot more cautious in the setups and developments of all these EAs going forward. So because 2022 and 23 seems to have been a completely different trading monster than what we had with the Forex here in 2024. So it has been a bit of a roller coaster ride. Let's hope it's going to be a bit more smooth this particular year in here. We are definitely going to do our best to make sure the signals, the PAMM accounts and everything else is going to be a lot better. We are looking forward to it. We are hoping that things are actually looking a lot brighter this particular year. But you can follow all of this as usual every single week, and our updates for the EAs, any news that is coming out, and hopefully give us a thumbs up, a like and a comment if you have anything to add to this particular report. Otherwise, I hope to see you next week again. Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed our news report. So please don't forget to like and add your comment below, as we would love to get your feedback. But before you go, make sure you subscribe to the channel and don't forget to keep the notification bell turned on. That way, you will never miss any of our future videos. We hope to see you back on this channel very soon.